You are listening to the CPA Moms podcast with Dawn Goldberg, CPA. This is episode number 248, Top Tangible and Intangible Time Management Skills You Need to Know. Welcome to the CPA Moms podcast, the podcast where busy female accountants who also happen to be moms like you get practical support and solutions you need to have it all, a successful career and a happy family. If you are looking for the solution to overwhelm and mom guilt, if you'd like to feel better and have more balance, as well as learn how to take back control of your life, you've come to the right place. Hello there. Welcome back to this week's show. As always, I hope you had a great week. So I think I shared with you probably a number of times that I had taken my kids, Kelly and Brendan, to Ireland after April 15th. Well, my husband actually last week took his daughter to Ireland and he's coming back today. And maybe you can relate to this, but having the house to myself, I have been living my best life. I just want to say, I love my husband. Of course, I missed him. However, I really enjoyed the time that I had to myself. I'm not really by myself. I've got 3 dogs and my daughter did stop by it at some point, but I don't know. I love the time that I had to myself. Now, of course, he's coming back and I'm, love having him around, but just want to say, maybe you can relate to it. All right, so let's get started with this week's episode. This is episode number 248, and the title is Top Tangible and Intangible Time Management Skills You Need to Know. So when it comes to being both an accountant and a mom, how well are you managing your time? And if you're like most of the women that I speak to and that I get to coach, your answer is probably not as well as you'd like. Now, if you can relate, it might seem like there's never enough time and that you have no control over your time. And it can be frustrating when you're trying to do your best, both at work and at home, yet there aren't enough hours in the day to accomplish what you want or what you need to. Now, maybe you find yourself having to work late to meet deadlines, or maybe you're staying up late to get housework done. Maybe you feel so busy that you miss time with your kids, or you find yourself not getting the amount of sleep that you'd like. If your to-do list never seems to decrease and you feel like you'll never be able to catch up, the hard truth is that you may not be managing your time effectively. Now, I'm not saying you're not managing your time. I'm saying you're probably not managing it effectively. Now, the good news is that you're listening to this podcast, and time management for accountant moms is my specialty. And thankfully, if you learn how to manage your time properly, you'll be able to find the right balance between work and family and rest. Now, you'll effectively accomplish the things that matter, and hopefully you'll let go of the things that don't. You'll also reduce your level of stress and increase your level of happiness and fulfillment. Sounds great, right? Well, I promise you it is. You just need to learn a few tangible and intangible time management skills. So with so much information available on time management, I really wanted to distill it all down to what I consider the most important. But I also want to share some things that no one else is teaching you about time management. Interestingly, learning effective time management skills isn't all about time management. That's confusing. Well, I'm going to explain more in a minute. But for now, just know that the intangible time management skills that I'm going to share are even more important than the tangible ones. Okay, so this week I'm going to discuss the top tangible time management skills that you need to know and the top intangible skills that will make a huge difference. All right, so let's start with the tangible ones. So when I refer to a time management skill as quote unquote tangible, what I'm saying is that these are the things you would normally associate with learning how to better manage your time. These proven skills will make it much easier to effectively manage your time. So the first one is have time management goals. Now, we all know how important it is to set goals professionally and personally. Right? If we want to move from point A, we need to know what point B is. Otherwise, we'll just stay stuck at point A. When I refer to having time management goals, I'm not talking about what you want to achieve with the time that you have. I'm referring to how you structure your time. So in other words, how much time do you want to spend working or taking care of your household? How much time do you want to spend being with your family, doing self-care things? How much time do you want to spend sleeping? What does your perfect week look like? How would you like to spend the next 30 days? So if you could wave a magic wand and have the balanced life you've always dreamed of, what would that look like? You need to have a vision for your time management. Okay. The second skill is know how to prioritize. So you're an intelligent woman, but don't assume that you know how to prioritize properly. Why? Because you've also been a young girl who was most likely raised to put others' needs first. The truth is that it's extra challenging for a lot of us women to learn how to prioritize things because we have to go against our early programming. What that means is that we have to be even more aware of what we're choosing to do with our time and to choose more intentionally. So in a previous episode, I talked about what's called the decision matrix that will help you prioritize. But as a quick summary, if you listened to that episode or didn't, you need to label everything on your to-do list as number one, either easy or hard, and then number two as either high impact or low impact. And then when you prioritize, you want to prioritize your calendar. You want to put things on your calendar in the following order. The first thing you want to put on is easy, high impact. Then the second thing is hard, high impact. The third thing you want to put on your calendar are the things that are easy, low impact, and then hard, low impact. But you typically you want to remove the hard, low impact things. Now, that's just one way to approach prioritizing, but whatever you do, you need to override the programming in your brain. Do not give in to your brain's natural tendency to make everything seem urgent. Okay, number 3, you need to throw away your to-do list. Now, I know you probably want to gasp at the thought of throwing away your to-do list, especially as an accountant. But there is a reason that I recommend that you do. The truth is that your brain gets very overwhelmed with to-do lists, which makes it very challenging to use your time effectively. So when I work with my time management coaching clients, I do have them dump everything out of their brain and onto paper. But the reason I have them do that is just as a way to declutter their brains. Your brain is for processing, not for storing. So the more you can get out of your brain, the better it will be able to do all that accounting work that you need to do. Now, of course, you need to know what you need to do, but the key to better time management is that working off of a to-do list is not as effective as you might think. So if you're a little panicked by the idea of throwing away your to-do list, the next tangible skill that I'm going to share makes it possible for you to throw it away. So don't panic. Okay. So the next tangible skill that you need to know is how to calendar everything. Now again, your to-do list is not an effective way to manage your time. It should just be used as part of the calendaring process. It should not be the thing that you manage your time with. So once you've decided your time management goals, you've got your to-do list, and you know what you're prioritizing, it's time to calendar it all. Put everything on the calendar so that you're only working off your calendar, not a to-do list. So if you want to decrease overwhelm, this is incredibly helpful. The reason working off a to-do list isn't helpful is that your lower reactionary brain cannot put things on your list into context, and it makes everything seem urgent. So learn how to use your higher brain to make decisions ahead of time, to prioritize, to calendar things, and then you're going to want to throw away that to-do list. So now you only need to focus on what you scheduled and when. And one last point about calendaring. Don't think that everything on your to-do list needs to be done for this week. It just has to be put on the calendar for some point in time. And the next tangible skill is be kind. Now, I tell my time management clients this all the time. Be kind to the future version of you that has to do what you put on your calendar. So in other words, do not pack so many things back to back that you have no white space or time to breathe. Over scheduling yourself is not kind. Not planning for unexpected things to happen is not kind. Not calendaring your free time before anything else is not kind. Stop trying to fit a square peg in a round hole by forcing yourself to manage your time in a way that makes you feel overwhelmed or makes you feel like you need to hustle. When you plan your calendar, you should be constantly considering the future version of you that has to follow the calendar, and you want to set her up for success. You know what she needs at various times throughout the day? So give them to her. You know she's tired at the end of the workday? So decide in advance what's for dinner. You know she's going to struggle with leaving work at work, so schedule time at the end of the workday to tie up loose ends. Just be kind to her. And the next thing is, know how to focus better. Now, it can be tempting, I get it, to multitask, especially as a busy accountant and a mom with limited time. But multitasking is not, and I stress, not an effective time management skill. According to a study published by the American Psychological Association, you actually spend between 20 and 40% more time when you multitask. So the truth is that multitasking not only costs you time and efficiency, but it can also reduce the quality of your work. You need to learn how to focus better on completing one task at a time. So if you calendared everything, then your calendar will tell you what you should be focusing on and for how long. Now, I'm going to discuss an intangible time management skill that will help you learn how to focus better. But for now, you just need to know how to do one thing at a time so that you allow your brain its optimal processing ability. And the last tangible skill is stop procrastinating. Procrastination is one of the biggest time wasters. If you want to learn how to get more done in less time so that you can create more time, you have to stop procrastinating. So if you were kind to yourself when you calendared, then you just need to follow the calendar. But what happens is that your brain is often not on board with expending the energy to do the things that's calendared, which of course leads to procrastination. So in order to follow through and not procrastinate, you need to learn how to manage your mind. Mind management is the key to overcoming procrastination and to better time management. The truth is that for accountants, we rarely feel like doing anything that we've calendared because what we do takes a lot of mental energy. Therefore, it's just easier to procrastinate. But when you understand how to get your brain on board, you can easily overcome procrastination. So now that I've shared the top tangible time management skills, maybe you're familiar with some, maybe not others, I'm going to share some of the best intangible time management skills that have made a huge difference for myself and my coaching clients. So there's plenty of advice out there about time management and time hacks. We see that all the time. But what no one is talking about are the intangible time management skills that make time management more effective. If you would like to have more control over your time, then the following intangible skills will make a huge difference. Okay, so number one, understand what a circumstance is. So what I mean when I say to understand what a circumstance is that there are circumstances and there are our thoughts about circumstances. Circumstances are neutral. They don't mean anything until your brain makes them mean something. For example, time is a circumstance that is neutral. It just is. How much time you have is not good or bad. It's not a problem. Let's say you have 13 tax returns to get done in the next 15 days. That is a neutral circumstance. It is not a problem until your brain tells a problem story. The truth is that time doesn't cause us to feel overwhelmed. It doesn't cause us to feel busy or anxious. Time can't cause us to feel anything. Time and the things that we need to do with time are not a problem. What we choose to do with time is up to us, but it's still our choice. The things that we have planned on our calendar are all just neutral circumstances. They don't make us feel pressured or worried or overwhelmed or stressed. Time is not to blame for how you feel or for what you don't get done. When you understand what a circumstance is and that it's neutral, you have much more control over your time management. The second thing is be aware of your thoughts about time. Your thoughts about time are everything when it comes to time management. Your thoughts create your relationship with time. And if you have an adversarial relationship, you're going to have a lot of problems managing your time. So you need to be aware of what you're thinking when you create your to-do list, calendar things, and then have to follow through with what's on that calendar. You need to be aware of what you're thinking about the things you need to do and the amount of time you choose to do them in. You also need to be aware of what you're thinking when you don't follow your calendar or when unexpected things come up and when things don't get done. What you think about time and your ability to manage it will have a huge impact on how productive and efficient you can be. If you want to feel more focused and in control of your time, you have to start with what you're thinking. Those tangible time management skills are just a small piece. It's your thoughts that are pivotal when it comes to time management. The third intangible skill is manage your feelings. So managing how you feel is one of the most important keys to successful time management. Why? Because how you feel drives all of your actions and inactions. You want to stop procrastinating? You need to create the feeling of, for example, determined or motivated on purpose. Want to get more done in less time? You need to create the feeling of focused on purpose. For example, if you had 10 things scheduled to do and only 5 got done, you need to create the feeling of acceptance instead of judgment in order to take action to get those undone things done. Have something on your calendar that you're feeling resistant or overwhelmed or confused about. You need to choose the best feeling you can in order to replace resistance and overwhelm and confusion. Do you need to be super productive and not procrastinate? Manage your feelings. When you manage your feelings, you will be amazed at how much more you're able to get done. Manage your feelings and you will have so much more control of your time. Now, hopefully you now see that while there's so much information out there about the typical tangible time management skills, it's really the intangible skills that no one is teaching. And I've said this many times before on the podcast, but when you learn how to manage your accountant brain, you can manage everything else, especially your time. So in summary, it can be frustrating when you're trying to do your best both at work and at home, yet there aren't enough hours in the day to accomplish what you want and need to do. And finally, there's plenty of advice out there about time management and time hacks, but what no one is talking about are the intangible time management skills that make time management more effective. All right, there you go. That was episode number 248, Top Tangible and Intangible Time Management Skills You Need to Know. So I was just putting together a webinar that I'm going to be doing on conquering procrastination once and for all. And what everybody typically wants to know is like, what do I need to do to stop procrastinating? And really the key that I could teach you a whole bunch of different hacks and different, behaviors and different things that you could change. But the root cause of procrastination is our feelings. That is the issue. We don't feel like doing something because then our lower brain, that toddler part of our brain, is in charge. We need to understand that that's what's happening and then become the supervising parent of our brain. Use our higher brain to be more intentional. Use it to understand that it doesn't want to do a lot of the things that we have to do, especially as accountants and moms. And that is why we procrastinate. There's nothing wrong with us. We just have a human brain that nobody taught us how to manage. That is the issue. And so it's things like that I think is so important to talk about and to teach accountant moms, because there's a lot of information out there about time management. But what I actually have started to call what I teach is time mastery. Time mastery is combining mind management with time management. Because if you do not know how to manage your mind, you do not know how to effectively manage your time. You are always going to have a problem with time management. All right. So if you are interested in finding out more, you're going to want to check out the newsletter. You can find out more about the Balanced Accountant Program. If you don't get our weekly newsletter, that means you're not a part of the CPA Moms community. Please come and join us. It's super simple. You just want to go to facebook.com/groups/CPA Moms. And once you sign up, you give us your name and email address, then you will be getting our weekly newsletter and you'll find out about all the things that we offer, including better time management. All right. I'll talk to you guys next week. Have a great one, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like what you heard, be sure to click subscribe on your podcast app so you never miss an episode. At CPA Moms, we pride ourselves on being the e-harmony of the accounting world, making it possible for business owners to have their accounting needs met by amazing CPAs that are moms just like you. Whether you are an accountant interested in growing your own solo mompreneur business, or perhaps you are looking for flexibility to work from home, or maybe you are looking to grow your current firm or team, CPA Moms has what you are looking for. Check us out at cpa-moms.com.